Williams with Circle of the Dark Mother. Today, I want to talk about Lilith Sumerian practice. And what I mean by this is looking at Sumerian tradition and their way of doing magic. And this is Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon, always called the Sumer Akkad culture, which crossed all three of these cultures. They had a certain way of working with magic. And we'll actually find out it's not too different from what we do today. Talk a little bit about this. So Lilith in Sumer. The first references to any Lilith-like entities are in the writings of Sumer. The Lilim are a group of wind spirits that are mentioned in several Sumerian inscriptions. Other aspects of Lilith that are described are Ardat Lili, handmaiden of the wind, and Lilitu, she of the wind. Lilith is referred to as the maiden of desolation in the Epic of Gilgamesh, and as Inanna's handmaiden in another. There are no direct references to practices with Lilith that we have found at this time, but we can infer much from the few fragments we have found revolving around the chief deities of Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamian magic. The magical practices of ancient Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon are surprisingly similar to what modern occultists practice. Astrology, invocation, exorcism, crystals and stones, flowers and herbs, candles, fires and such, and statues were at the heart of their practice. These ancient cultures believed that crystals and stones, oils and flame all held magical properties that could be used in spells and other workings. Invocation and exorcism were two sides of a coin. Invocation was used to call upon gods, demons, and spirits, where exorcism was used to dispel hostile entities by using usually a deity or demon. For instance, the image of Pazuzu was used to protect mothers and their children from the goddess demoness Lamashtu. Oil in Mesopotamia. In Babylon, oils were made for various purposes. One of the main purposes was anointing the body for protection, good luck, or blessings, but they were also used to anoint statues and the dead. The practices with oil that are detailed in the Hebrew Torah, what we would call the Old, are strikingly similar to Babylon. In fact, some scholars have found is that many are the same exact text, except for deity names. So Marduk or Enlil as these main deities, or Ishtar, they would replace those names with names of God like Yahweh or El or Elohim, used in Jewish tradition. This is not surprising, as the Jews and many were in exile in Babylon, where they picked up many spiritual practices and a lot of things crossed back and forth. Astrology in Mesopotamia. The ancient people of Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon were very practiced astrologers and used astrology in their magical practice. They centered on 7 spheres within the heavens: Earth, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. The list of spheres was called the Ladder of Lights and is displayed much like the Tree of Life in Kabbalah, with a lightning bolt showing the movement of the energy between the spheres. This glyph is actually really similar to the lower 7 separative construction in Kabbalah. And it's actually the same heavenly bodies that match these. Not in the order I listed, but they do match the 7. And it's basically like the Tree of Life or the Tree of Shadows without the supernal or the top 3 in place. So placement of stars, planets, seasons, days, and time of day were all incorporated into their magic. Statues in Mesopotamia. Every city in Mesopotamia had a patron deity that had a statue or idol located in their main temple. This temple was usually located in the middle of the city. There were other temples with idols, and every household had their patron deities with altars and statues. Once a year, the statue of the main male and female god for a city were brought together, anointed, and then left together overnight. Sometimes this was acted out by the king and queen instead of working with idols. The bridal chamber, and I put this in quotes because that's a term used in Judaism and Gnosticism, was used to demonstrate the copulation of the god and goddess so that there would be fertility in the land. The Mesopotamian hymns and poems about this bridal chamber are all very much like the Song of Songs, also called the Song of Solomon in Hebrew scriptures, showing a big connection between the two. In fact, the Song of Songs or Song of Solomon is almost a complete replica of some of these poems that were recited mostly in Babylon, the later period of Babylon. Lilith rituals. There are no surviving descriptions of rituals or magic with Lilith. However, we can make the assumption that any work with her would use the same tools as were used for other deities and demons. Anything we do at this point is Reconstructionist, but it does give us a starting point to incorporate into our practice. So some ideas: use crystals or stones, flower or oils, or herbs in your practice. Look up those meetings in occult books, you'll find them. Look at the meaning of the day, the time of day, the astrologic phenomena going on to fuel your magic. Anoint yourself and your statues with oil, and consider doing a procession through your home with your Lilith statue. Anoint her with oil and give her the veneration she deserves. So that's a very brief summary of some of the things they did in Mesopotamia around magic, around their deities, and some things we can do in our own practice. Thanks. Talk to you next time.